Okay, I think we're here. This is number 10, I think, of the Black Sheep. And is this number 10?
Yep.
Okay. This episode is Jen's going to give you her usual disclaimer, but it's on feminism.
The reason why I'm giving you the disclaimer is because this will probably trigger listeners. Even doing some research and reflecting.
We're triggered right now.
We were triggered by going through this.
Sweating already.
And the reason why we also want to have these hard conversations is because if we don't, we let ourselves hide because of being triggered. We let ourselves hide from hard conversations and also healing ourselves. So this disclaimer is, one, you might be triggered. And if you are, that's totally fine. That's for you to navigate and to look inwards and say, why does this cause discomfort within me? And two, this conversation is our perspectives, our life, our worldview. And this conversation is just from our own hearts and representative of only us. So let's get into the topic of feminism from maybe our own journeys with it, because we have identified as feminists in our life.
I think that was my identity. Like, that was one of my soul identities.
Yeah.
Pure feminist.
Yeah.
It's what my entire egotistical self was built on. I feel like that was a huge part of me as a woman evolving. It's from the feminist lens.
Well, constantly striving for, I can do that. If you can do that, I can do that.
I have 4 older brothers. So that was my entire life, proving to my dad and to my brothers and to me that I could do what they could do.
Right.
And it took me like 35 years until I actually got hit in the head so hard that I realized that was the wrong angle to ever have looked at it.
Right.
That there is no, this is going to, like, there's no equality between the two, but that's not the right word. There's no, we are completely different.
Like biologically, we
are completely different. And my whole entire life, having looked at it from, I can do whatever they can do, I can do better, it was just it was just setting me up for failure from the get-go. Mm-hmm. And it's not that here's what you have to understand about that statement. It's not that I couldn't play hockey and have a good time with them. Mm-hmm. That was, and not that I wasn't a good skater. But if my brother lined up and took a slap shot at me, it's going to fucking hurt more than if I lined up and took a slap shot at him.
Right.
And I just didn't get it. Like, I would just be so angry. Like, I just try harder. I'll shoot harder. This just never came. It just never came. And it really, like, I think we've mentioned this, and I mentioned it in another episode, is I didn't get it until CrossFit.
Right.
It was like being a weightlifter that I finally realized, even after I got knocked out in co-ed hockey by a guy that wasn't even trying to, just a guy that stopped and turned.
Wow.
Like, saw stars. It wasn't that really made me realize that. Even playing against Manica, we've talked about Manica in a previous episode before. Playing against Manica was a real, like, that was different because that was in women's hockey. But but really, I mean, it's just an incredible thing that we're living in 2023 and we're having these arguments that women and men are the same and that they're born equal. And they're not. Like, they're not. Okay, perfect example. I can't remember the year, if it's 2012 or whatever the England Olympics was. Okay? Whatever the London, England Olympics. I also don't like where you're sitting because I liked it better when I could look over and point to you and you'd be able to get stuff. You know what I mean?
It's okay. Keep going.
Anyway, we've changed some things around this week. So my Jamie is in like the weird spot. Yeah.
You can use my chair over there, so Jess can point to you when she wants you to
like,
look up information.
Be here.
Okay.
Okay, so Usain Bolt wins the gold medal in whatever the sprint was, 9 point. I'm gonna say I'm sure I'm wrong, but 9.4 seconds, and it's a world record breaking race.
Right.
Okay, the winner of the female is also from Jamaica, and her time is 10.4. I don't know, something like that. So you think like, wow, actually, maybe they should race together. Okay, but really, her number in the tens is the under 17 boys
Number. Wow.
So you think in reality, you're thinking, oh, they're actually really close. But a second in racing like that
It's a lot.
is a lot.
Yeah.
So it's just an interesting thing because Usain Bolt and a female athlete do not he has longer legs, larger lung capacity. His upper chest area is that like puffed out V shape. Obviously, he has a longer wingspan. The differences in between men and women from birth are astronomically different.
And they're designed by nature to be different.
Isn't that a concept? Crazy.
Right.
Crazy, because the woman's body is clearly built with curves and hips for the one purpose. And this isn't to trigger women that don't have kids for whatever reason. It's just a fucking biological fact that if you have a fucking vagina and breasts, you've been made to carry a child, to create life. That's just a fact.
That's what your body's designed for.
It's not to trigger you and make you feel bad. It's just that's a fucking fact.
Right.
And men are not made to do that. Men are built in a completely different capacity to be able to lift stronger, move faster, step further, jump higher. It is what it is. In CrossFit, the women, what did we use, a 10 inch, 12 inch box, for box jumps? And then the guys are,
14?
I don't know, for 18? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
Right.
It's a big difference.
The baselines are different.
So I think that it's just a super interesting topic these days because growing up, I think we just accepted the fact that there was this movement for women and either you were going to be a fucking homemaker or you were going to be a career woman. Like, end of fucking story. Or an athlete. There was no, like, in the 80s and 90s, there was no, like, push to be a mother.
Well, I think it was actually looked at in a negative way. Like, you're a stay-at-home mom was like, oh, you're a stay-at-home mom? Right?
Yeah.
Like, women...
I'm choosing to not have a career.
Yeah, like, I think that was, like, women felt almost, like, embarrassed to say that or ashamed.
Absolutely.
Like, that was, like, our cultural...
Absolutely.
I don't know, like, it was looked down upon. And I think it was taught to look down upon versus, in a lot of other cultures, it's so highly respected.
That's
the woman's role in the family and like saying even the matriarch, but like the woman's role is to teach and to teach all the values, to nurture, to build the bonds, to foster love in the home, so that when kids are growing up, they're whole.
Up until 50 years ago, there was nothing more important than the family.
Yeah,
There
because
was
that's where
nothing.
all of our attachments form. That's where all of our bonds and connections are formed. Our values, our morals.
So if up until 50 years ago or so, 70 years ago, if the entire civilization as we know it is based on the nuclear family, then what happened?
You want to get into the history?
Of course.
Yeah, let's get into the history. Let's
Because
go through,
this is like, this took a chunk of my soul when I looked into feminism and what happened and where did it come from and why. Because I wasn't looking at it trying to find the hole in it. I wanted to learn about feminism and like what happened. And when you come to realize, especially as a gay woman, what the agenda was from the get-go, it's crushing.
Right.
It's crushing.
When I went to Western, King's College for social justice and peace studies, I was there 2005 to 2009. And it was a lot of movements and advocacy work and stuff like that. And one of the movements at the time was feminism. And I remember some of my classmates, some of the guys were wearing "I'm a feminist" t-shirt. And I got
More like I'm a pussy.
I, I got I got swept up in a lot of that, but there was still like this inkling inside of me that felt like I don't fully believe in all of that. Like I can get on board with women
Equal pay.
equal pay.
That makes sense to me. If you're a
Equal
doctor
pay.
and I'm a doctor, we should probably
Yeah.
get the same pay.
Yeah. And in the public sphere, we are paid equally in Canada. But when I was in university, I just remember thinking like, this is kind of weird. Like, why am I being taught to hate men? Because it was almost like there was a lot of extreme views with that. And I couldn't get on board with saying like, oh, I don't like men. But part of me growing up, like in my 20s, early 20s especially, there was this part of me that had like,
A disdain?
yeah, for men. Like it like got into my psyche. And like when men would like make cat calls, when I was traveling and stuff, I would be like pissed. I'd be so pissed. Like, how dare you? Versus now, if they cat call, I'm like, thanks. Well, thank you. Like,
Yeah, baby. What's up? What are you doing in 5 minutes in the back alley? Let's go.
oh God, Jess, no. But that was like but the anger is what was being
And you have
fed,
and you have a dad. Like you don't come from a broken home. You have a good dad. And not saying that anybody that comes from a broken home doesn't have a good dad. I'm not saying that. But imagine the girls that either never had a father or the father figure that left. Those girls at Western that are being fed this bullshit are the ones that are going, like, those are the single white females that are killing us right now.
Well, again, remember that our values and our learning safety with our parents is how we learn safety in relationships. So if we don't have that established with our parent figures, then we don't have that in romantic relationships.
Right.
So even like when I'm in this extreme view and I'm surrounded by like this hive mentality around like anger pushing this movement, and I felt like I had to like get on board because the academic side of me is saying like, well, I'm here, like there's got to be some legitimacy to this, and maybe I should learn more, and because I really want to immerse myself and look and feel and take on that as my ego as part of like I'm very knowledgeable and I'm with it and I know all these things, right? Like I'm part of it. But there was always this inkling of like some of this doesn't feel right. And looking back, that's my intuition. That's my inner knowing going like,
Absolutely. Like I was in the same boat, and then I'd be thinking like everything that I've ever really learned, like skill trade wise, because everyone's always like, wow, you're so skilled. You have so many, I'm not trying to be a dick, but guess who fucking taught me every single one of those fucking skills?
Right,
It wasn't
right.
a woman. It's a man. Whether it's one of my brothers, my dad, or, one of my old boyfriends. Like,
Right.
those are who taught me shit. So it's like you're making men look like they're fucking pricks all the time, and of course there are.
Well, there's pricks in everything.
Of course. Like, but it's just like I always thought like, God, like I mean, fuck
Yeah.
you, men. But like, thanks for teaching me everything I know.
Right. Yeah, I think, like when women are bashing men, when I hear women complaining constantly about men, and I can get caught in that hive mentality throughout my years. Like I would get caught in that, and I, even just reflecting on that, it's just men are good. There's so many good men, and there's so many. Like when I think about any man that's struggling with like control or power issues, there's something energetically within him that isn't being met. And that's the same with women. When women project their needs or try to control their spouse or are insecure, we push that onto our partners and then we blame them. We're projecting all of our shit onto our partner. And then we diminish that gender. we diminish their role, and we don't foster that respect and that admiration and that pride and the celebration of our spouse and who they are. There's a lot of emasculation that can happen because, I think a lot of women are just exhausted because we take on all the things. And women have so much more responsibility if they are working full time, raising kids full time, in a marriage, maintaining the home, trying to get everybody to all their appointments and all their extracurriculars, and then keeping the house clean. And if they got pets, it's there. I think there's a lot of women that are just so fucking burnt out from their life that there's just resentment. There's just anger. And I think that a lot of women don't know how to, or are maybe looking at ways to come back home to what's important. And how do I not feed this constant cycle of, being in fight or flight and taking on everything and then hating my husband?
I know how they can fix it, but it takes the men to step back up, because this is where the problem lies, is that if, this is going to sound terrible, but I don't really care because this is how I feel. So it's not terrible. So fuck you. If the man if the man and the woman who decide, okay, we're going to get married, if the man says, which is now that I'm reevaluating life, and the man says, okay, this is my career. I'm going to buy us a house. We're going to have kids. You'll have everything that you need. And we'll build our family.
We'll build our lives here.
We'll build our lives together.
Yeah.
And this is my job. My job is to provide for you. My job is to go to work and hustle every day, so that every day we have a roof over our head, bills paid, money in the bank, whatever you're striving for. Okay. And at that point, he says to her, or they agree together, my expectations of you as my wife are that you're going to keep us healthy, meaning you're going to be preparing nutritious meals, and you're going to be nurturing our children, and you're going to be keeping our house in a nice way. And,
looking after your temple, like your sanctuary. Yeah.
It's essentially, and again, like, when I say men, I mean, it clearly, I'm not fucking homophobic. I'm sitting here with my wife having this discussion. So if you're gay, then cool. But I still think that if there are children involved, which in this situation there are, I do think that one of you needs to be home. So I don't care who it is. I mean, I suppose, like I've said this before, there could be a female who's a lawyer, doctor, whatever the case is, and would make more money than the man. Now, this guy that I follow, he would say that's also a mistake, though. He would say that it would be the man's job to do better than to have a job that made more money than the wife. So that she, after having a baby, she's done. Like, you can be a doctor again when you're older if you want, but like, I'm just saying what he says. So there's always a counter he's got where it's always putting men here, where men need to be doing better as men. They need to reclaim their roles as the provider, as the patriarch. And I think people always have this thing where they have either it's a patriarchal relationship or it's a matriarch. Okay, but couldn't it be like two peaks on a house? Like, couldn't it be a house with two peaks, and you could have both, right? And you can have him, with his role,
strong masculine and
strong
a
masculine
strong
role,
feminine.
and a strong feminine role. And I know a lot of women like this. It doesn't mean that they have no life anymore. In fact, these are the women, this is where women, I'm so sorry, if you're a feminist, this is where you're so retarded, because you could have everything that you want. This is what women don't get. They're so busy at their 9-to-5 gay job that they hate, okay, when they could be at home doing what they love on the side. Okay, and when you take away all the taxes and all the bullshit, if you had a side business at home, you probably end up making the same as you would make doing your corporate job, losing 30% of your income, 40% of your income to taxes.
Well, and paying in child care.
Of course, bam, right? Like, of course.
You're paying somebody else to raise your own child.
It's you can probably get back to having one car.
I mean, we downsized in different ways.
And we had one car for years.
Yeah, and even like when we had like the two incomes and we were both going hard and at life, and it was like, let's go away on a vacation, like save up so we can get away. Like, we don't live that cycle of life of stress and like trying to exit out of that stress. We've created a life where we're just fostering love, creativity, play, fun, respect, self-care on the daily, because we're not striving. Money's not our driving force.
No.
Love is. And what are we trying to build for our family and sow in the ground? Like how are we what kind of life are we creating? And coming out to the farm really established that for us, because we're just so immersed in nature. And so that's been really healing for us and reevaluating, what's important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think the feminist movement that I definitely, part of like my journey with that, was really deeply involved in like the capitalist, consumeristic lifestyle. Like, that was where I prided myself on, I'm going on this trip, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing this training, or I'm doing this. But at the end of the day, I knew when I was traveling solo and backpacking around the world on my own, at the end of the day, I was so lonely, and I just wanted to be able to share.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to share my experiences and my love with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it gets wrapped up a lot in the consumeristic lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Of like an image, and the ego is driving like a certain identity that we're trying to aspire to.
Now the identity is women don't need men.
Yeah.
So now the identity is I can go away on a vacation alone, and guess what? I don't have to bring anyone with me, and I can meet these fuck boys on vacation and fuck around with whoever I want, and then come home to an empty house and save up for another 6 months and do it all over again and pretend that I'm happy.
Yeah,
I don't understand where women think that they're not valuable enough anymore to have someone 24/7. Like, that's where I think I feel the most sorry for these feminists now that think that being single and, their 20s was all about trying on different guys and trying on. Meanwhile, like, now I get it. And I mean, I'm too, like, we met later in life, but so I'm so grateful for that. But I think of, like, there are people in their 20s that meet someone and they're wholesome. It's usually like these wholesome people, and they meet each other and they just know that they're going to commit to each other and they're going to grow together. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. And they spend their whole lives going through all of these stages together. Mm-hmm. And it makes them stronger. That's their foundation. Brick by brick, layer by layer. They've gone through all these ups and downs, little kids, gone through that stage. Now they're off, and they can still find that oneness. Whereas, like, I think all these girls are just like, oh yeah, I don't want that. That's not for me. I want to just try shit on. And then all the good ones go. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you're fucking 40 and you're like, who wants to go to the bar? And like,
no thanks.
Well, it's just all of your friends probably have, not all, but a lot of your friends probably have kids and husbands or wives. You know what I mean?
And they're busy doing family things.
So it's just interesting, because there are still women that live that life with the family, and I think, like, them, I know them, and they really seem happy. And then you see these other women that chose the other route of feminism, careers, being single, having a sexual, what's it called? Sexual revolution, liberty? Liberation. Sexual liberation.
Right.
By being able to fuck whoever I want.
Well, that's part of the feminist movement. Mm-hmm. my body's mine and I'm free and I
My
can
body, my choice.
well, and like women's marches and even like the Pride Parade where women are topless or like flaunting their bodies. I just remember, and we've been to the Pride protest, and I remember
Parade.
seeing a parade.
We protest it now, but it used to be a parade for us.
Yeah. But I remember seeing women, and our daughter was with us, and I remember seeing women that were topless, and like our daughter Abby was like, "Why are they topless?" And I remember thinking like, that doesn't feel right. That still doesn't feel right.
It's almost like it's so sad that we took Abby to that. Like I
know.
I don't try to carry shame, but that's one thing that I do feel shame for. But I also feel like it was a blessing at the same time because it was almost like it was Evelyn that was like that like
she taught us
taught us a lesson that day, being like, should I be seeing this?
Is that okay?
And it was
why
like,
do they do that?
Right? It was like, no, that's not okay. This is not for family. Why are we advertising this as a family event when old fucking saggy balls over there is fucking pantless and this fucking old saggy tit lady? What? It's never hot fucking 20 fucking 2-year-old lesbians with nice asses. It's always old fucking pedophilia fucking pedophile men and creepy fucking fat white women who just couldn't get a guy, so they end up being gay, but they're not really gay. They're just gross.
Yeah, that.
So I'm guessing that you're not agreeing with me on that topic, on that point there.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm definitely not disagreeing. Because there is a lot of shit that we saw there that I was like, ew, that doesn't feel right. Ooh, that doesn't look.
I'm sorry, but if you're a gay man, and you think that having your dick out at a parade, erect, semi-erect, or not, and there are children around, you are a pedophile. There's no other way to put it. Because any other man would be like, and then they would be like, this isn't right. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because it's not right.
Right.
If you think that that's normal and that's okay, the lines have now been completely blurred about what's right and wrong.
Yeah. Now, like, I just want to say that the London Pride was fairly clean, and that thank God, we or her weren't exposed to any of that. But the tits for sure.
Yeah, lots of tits. Again, as I do a lot of my own woman healing, divine feminine connection work, it's around full respect for my body because my body is my temple, and if I'm flaunting my sexuality, I don't need to be doing that.
No, and I mentioned this in the last episode, but the more conservative you become, the fucking sexier you get. Yeah. Like, I love it. It's like almost like I think like, oh, maybe she'll be a Mennonite. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, the more the more conservative you dress, I get that video now of that lady in Europe walking down the street, and she looks like how Julia Roberts looked in Pretty Woman. Did we watch that together?
Yeah.
And like she's got this beautiful conservative black dress on. I mean, it's gorgeous. And she's got this hat, and she's walking through, the plaza or whatever, and just every head, man and woman, every head is turning.
Because beauty is attractive. Like, all eyes are drawn to beauty. Beauty is high vibe.
Yeah.
It's high vibration.
Yeah. And then you see these, and I'm sorry, but and I'm not sorry, it's disgusting when you see these women that are, like, I know Jen gets mad at me sometimes. We'll be driving, and my jaw hits the ground because I don't leave my house very often. So when I do, I'm amazed. We go into, like, our small town, and the girls are, I'm sorry, but everybody's fat, and they're all wearing clothes that are fucking several sizes too small. And shirts that you shouldn't wear, and they're like happy about it, and they think it's good. Like, oh my God.
When we were driving in Woodstock a little while back, we were pulling into one of the plazas, like the dollar store or something, and
there's your first giveaway.
I got another part to that, but we saw two young girls waiting at the bus stop, strip dancing.
Yeah.
Like pole dancing.
Yeah.
And laughing and giggling, and then they looked at us, and we were just kind of like...
I was like, I just stared at them. Jen goes, stop staring. I said, no. Like, if you're gonna do that, like, what are you gonna do? Like, I don't get it. What if a man comes up to you and tries to fucking grab you or tries to offer you money? Like, I don't understand what you're doing.
Well, I guess it's seeking attention. But that's the big part of this woman's this push for this sexual liberation, this women's rights. That's kind of a blurring the line around self-respect and self-love, because you wouldn't put yourself in situations where you could be potentially harmed by somebody if you had enough love for yourself and enough respect for yourself.
When I was that age, I was busking in front of the beer store on Hamilton Road.
What's busking?
Playing my guitar.
Oh.
Playing my guitar for money. And that my mom was mortified that I was doing that. And I should have been mortified because I was awful. And I had a harmonica on like a... And I play like Tom Petty and...
Oh, man. Too bad phones weren't there.
Oh, my God.
Time,
Thank God phones weren't there. Thank God.
I'm really glad we didn't have like Facebook and Instagram when I was in high school.
God. There's a lot of people that are lucky that we didn't have that. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm telling you, we made a deal with our daughter for $2,000 that when she turns, if she doesn't have social media until she turns 18, we'll give her $2,000.
Or we said, or you can have the car.
Yeah, and then it ended up being, we'll give you the car and the $2,000.
I was like, you want the house too? Whatever you want.
What do you want?
What do you want?
I mean, you want a pony? We're getting a pony. Whatever the fuck you want. Like, I mean, fucking buy you whatever you want.
Oh, it's so funny.
And
yeah, she's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay, cool. Great.
I mean, that could change.
No, we have to,
but...
we're going to have her sign it in blood. No. But we are going to sign it, like legit. We're going to sign
Make a
something
contract
and then
with
frame it. And then, so I don't ever want to lose it. I'm going to put it up on the wall or I'm going to put it somewhere. Because I think that's the best. I would have paid her $5. Like, that's like the best investment that you could make for a teenage girl.
Yeah,
honestly,
it causes so many problems.
Like, first of all, you automatically take away online bullying. Mm-hmm. You automatically take that away. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, done. No pictures, no creepos. It's anyway. We never got into the history.
Okay, let's go.
I think we got off track.
Back to.
But
it's typical.
There is I don't know. I'm gonna have to try to find, if anybody is interested in this, DM me, and maybe by then I'll have figured it out. There's a documentary that I watched. It might have been. I don't even know. But anyway, there's a clip in it from a guy, Aaron Russo. Some of you know who he was. He ran as a governor of, I think, Nevada in the either late 90s, early 2000s. Anyway, he was friends with one of the Rockefellers, and he was over at his place one night, and the interview goes something like this. Rockefeller says, "Hey, Aaron, why do you think the feminist movement? Okay, we helped fund that, as in the Rockefellers. Why, do you know why we did that?" And he said, because women deserve equal pay, and women deserve equal opportunities to have, employment and education. So pretty normal, noble reasons.
Yeah.
And he laughs at him and says, "You're a fucking idiot. We funded it for 2 reasons." So you have to remember, by me saying we funded it, we invented it, basically. Like, there has been, obviously before the 1960s, there was, movements for women's movements. But they started to fund the feminist movement. And the first reason was, at the time of no feminist movement, they are only taxing 50% of the American working age public.
Right.
So if all of a sudden we get women out of the house and into the workforce, now we're taxing 100%. So think about that. I mean, it's doubling what they're able to collect from the people. It's insane.
Right.
And number 2, to destroy the family by getting the children into the school system early to indoctrinate them sooner. Now, we touched on this in another episode, but if you've done any research by now, you'd know that the Rockefellers basically funded education. In all aspects, from elementary school to universities and everything in between, including writing all of the material. So if they can get the women out of the house, then guess what? Now you've got our generation, okay? The kids who were born in the 70s, 80s, and 90s are the last generation of kids to kind of raise themselves. We had no one. You were out of the house, like your parents sometimes literally locked the door when they left for work, and you had to be home by the time the lights turned on. Like you didn't go,
Drink out
you
of the
were not
hose.
in your house. You
Yep.
did not always have a lunch. If someone's, there was always the kid whose mom didn't work, especially if they were an immigrant, like WAPs and stuff. So there was usually somewhere to go to eat something. But that's what we were. We were alone. So they got our moms out of the house into the workforce, making minimum wage. These women were not doctors and lawyers.
Right.
My mom worked at Loblaws, okay, which I guess is decent money, and then ended up, moving into the high ranks of the bank and stuff, which is cool. She worked her way up as a working woman. But if you ask my mom, what did you want to do when you were a kid? All my mom wanted to do was be a mom. That's all she knew. Because she was like before that movement. Like she
Right.
was born in 55, 57, something like that. So they didn't know anything about that. Like women didn't work. That's not what she aspired to do. She grew up taking care of dolls and babies and wanting to be a mom.
Right.
So I'm kind of like interested in that. Like, so all of a sudden these women just start getting hammered with these movies, TV shows, advertisements of women in the workforce without men, having promiscuous sex, not getting married. And it's just like the fucking trans movement. It's just the same thing. It's just mimicking what you're seeing. It's just people that are, nobody wants to go through puberty. Nobody wants to go through puberty at all. So it's more appealing to not have to do that. So if it means turning into a boy, then that's way easier. I'm going back in time, I'm taking that choice. Like every single time, for sure. But
Can we go back to our generation that we raised ourselves? Like I came from a family with both my parents working. Both of them were educated and had pretty good jobs. My mom was like the director of the one part of the hospital where I grew up as a physio. And then my dad was a counselor at the college. And then later the director of a new program.
did you just turn my mic down?
No, she was checking on things. You do get loud though. You are a passionate Italian woman. That's right. So both my parents were working full time, and my mom was working longer hours because she had a really high up role in the hospital. And when I was in elementary school, I must have been in grade 3 around that time. And I don't remember it very well, but I do remember my mom receiving, looking over something I brought home from school, a project I had worked on. And it said, like, what do you wish for? And my wish was for my mom to be home. Ooh. Because my mom would work late. My dad would come home after work. My brother and I would get home. We were in before and after school. And then when we were old enough, we would race off the bus. Mike would always lock me out of the fucking house as a kid, and I'd go to the neighbors and cry and call home, and my dad would come home angry and yell, and then that was on a regular. But we raised ourselves, and we would watch Ninja Turtles and I don't know, all the cartoons when we get home.
I would identify as Michelangelo today if I was a kid.
Of course you would.
I fucking loved him.
But yeah, we would watch cartoons and I don't know, eat like our Lunchables and whatever we would until my parents would come home and then make dinner. But it was always like stressed and then schoolwork and then maybe I go to gymnastics and then we go to bed kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then it was rinse and repeat like that until the weekend. Then it was like family chores, rake the grass together, do this, whatever, go for a family hike. And it was all I wanted was just to be with my family. I just wanted to play games with my family. I just wanted to be with my mom. I wanted her to do my hair. I wanted to bake with her. I wanted to do all these things. She never had time because she was working. So when she read that in my school paper, my report thing, I remember seeing a huge switch in her. And I don't know, I'd have to ask, but I know that she changed jobs shortly after that. So she could be home more. And that made like we started eating better. She started exercising. She was focusing more on her health. Like there was a big change because when she was working that job, like she was so stressed. And we all felt that in our home. So, my brother and I, we essentially raised ourselves for some of the really important years of us growing up.
So that your mom could further her career, so that she could retire.
Well, I know you asked them today,
why?
they worked themselves so hard so that they could
During
stop
their
working.
good years. During their good years.
During the years that really were important for our upbringing.
And so how do they destroy the family nucleus? So they destroy it by dividing you guys so that you really aren't connected, right? Like you have a relationship.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that aren't connected, and I'm one of them, not really connected to parents because they were gone. So at those formative years, we kind of get disconnected from them. They're still our parents. Some of us still have decent relationships, but the people that's mother was like a homemaker.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really tight.
Oh, I was so
Like,
jealous of those
Were
families.
really tight,
yeah.
you know? Like
They'd have snacks when they came home.
Yeah.
The mom would greet them. Oh,
I honestly know that because I've mentioned her before, I think, but that Michelle Silva that I ran into at the bakery a few months ago, she's Portuguese and I used to go to French school with her and I used to go to her house every morning to pick her up for the bus. She was a year older than me and her grandma lived there from Portugal and she'd bake fresh biscuits every morning. And the mom was a stay-at-home mom and like, I just remember going into their house every morning and it was so warm, even in the winter. And like, they'd have fresh stuff. And after school, I'd like purposely walk home with her just because I knew that if I walked her home, I'd get invited in and they'd like, it was just, I don't know. I never really had that and I really loved it. But this is what women have traded. They've traded that for, so I like to say this, they won't serve their man, but they'll serve that man, right? Because generally they're working for like a man. So it's just funny to me that women don't want to stay at home and work for their, and when I say work for their husband, you understand what I mean. But they'll go to work for someone else, right? Like how fucked is that?
Well, think of like the women that have a baby and are on mat leave. And during their whole mat leave, all they're thinking about is how can I stay home? How can I not go back to work? And then the women that do go back to work, the separation from their child can be so friggin' hard. And same for that child, because now that child has to be raised by somebody else throughout the day. Yeah. All their awake hours.
So that they can pay for the big house and the extra car and the vacation. If they just kept the smaller house, one car, she could be home all day. And when dad gets home, she can say, okay, I'm going to go to the grocery store now.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to have an hour to myself, take the car. You know what I mean? There's always an option. There's always an option, but people don't want to give up. That's the other problem is women don't want to give up. They have this obsession thanks to the media, consumerism, marketing. They have to keep up.
Keep up with the Joneses.
If they don't have, I know so many girls from high school that like had to have the big mansion, the big Italian mansion, and like, oh, the vacations in the cars.
Again, it's like feeding the ego. And I think that's just such a deep program for our generation too, because we grew up with the TV. That's all like, and the commercials. And keeping up with the Joneses. Like it's always like striving for the big, like that was my parents. I was in my parents like, oh, we could get the house over by the water. We could get, I was like, I just want you home. Can we just play games? Like I don't care about
Like
that
kids
house.
will play with a cardboard box.
Yeah, like I just want to be with my family. I just want to play cards with my family. Like
In fact, kids would probably rather share bedrooms and beds because if you think about the biggest challenge with kids, it's bed.
we
It's
want to
bedtime.
be in their
They want to
energy
be together.
and safe.
And kids used to all sleep in one bedroom. Can you imagine if all of your siblings had one bedroom or, 2 or 3, like to a bedroom? Can you imagine bedtime? Like, you wouldn't be scared. You know what I mean? I slept with my brother until I was too old. Like, I always felt safe. I never wanted to be alone.
Yeah.
So when kids and families used to have a log house and it was one room, it was probably great.
That's like
Except
a lot
when the
of
parents
places.
wanted to have sex. That would suck.
Well,
But then you'd probably be more like, kids, stay here. We have to go and check some things in the woods. Right? And then the kids would have to stay at the cabin and the parents would go find a place in the woods to go do it or something.
some of the places that we saw when we were building houses in Dominican, like they were all like one room homes or
Or
two
the parents
rooms.
are like, children. If they're in South America, it'd be like, okay, it's time for you to go get the water today. And then make sure you go to the 5-kilometer one. I need you to get the water from the farthest basin today. Mommy and I have work to do here. You must be gone. And finally the kids leave and then dad's like, okay, mommy, time to go. You and me. Into the one room. Okay, so, where are we here?
Gosh,
So
Jess,
funny.
that's
Can we
so
go back?
funny.
Okay, so
Yeah, okay.
we never really went through the history. We keep getting sidetracked. So this is what so we know that now we have some kind of evidence that, and there's way more. Like you guys can, now that you know the little tidbits, you can go into this more for yourself. But so we do know that there's some kind of an agenda here. Okay? It's not that we don't think that women should have rights, that women should be able to get beat and raped by their husbands. Like, give me a fucking break. It's just that they took some concepts that are 100% true
Yep.
and attached a whole bunch of fucking commie bullshit to them.
To make it like an umbrella of it's all this or it's nothing.
Yeah.
Right. So it's keeping that divisional thinking.
Yep. Because communism, the whole entire point of it is to destroy the family and to keep the population low. Okay? And so for those of you that still don't get that there is a force of evil here that's something, whether it's communism or whatever, it sure looks like communism to me, that's trying to take over, that would be a really good way to fucking do it. Like, this is like the playbook of Mao and Stalin. What's happening right now, it's the fucking playbook. Like,
Explain. Give an example then around that. Like with the kids at the schools and how.
oh, yeah, okay. So, Yemeni Park, I think her name is. You guys know who that girl is? She's a North Korean defector. She's like the cutest thing you've ever seen in your life. And she escaped at 13 and then got to South Korea. And then China? I think she fucking ended up in China. And then somehow, through missionaries, got
To the States.
she went on a trip actually to the States through maybe she was studying in Korea, Seoul or something like that. And I don't know, somehow it just luck, like the universe, I shouldn't say luck, like this girl, like there's just things that happened for her that she obviously made in her mental strength. But anyway, so Yemeni Park. So she says that she's taught that in the school that your parents are bad. And if you see your parents doing A, B, and C, you have to tell us because they're bad. And you're taught, they don't know the word love. They're not allowed to use the word love. So your parents never tell you that they love you. They're not allowed to. They don't even know the concept of love. You got to listen to this girl's, I listened to probably 6 or 8 hours of interviews with this girl. Like, it's crazy on communism because I'm really fascinated with communism because I grew up knowing about communism, but nobody teaches you about communism. What does communism look like? How do they try to bring in communism? No one talks about that.
Because it's not all of a sudden, here's communism one day. It's a gradual indoctrination.
Like we said earlier, they take one concept, okay, and they attach 1,000 terrible things to it.
Right.
So that you're ushered in under gender equality, but
Which
sounds great.
Yeah.
You know, but what it means is that, you know, we're going to erase genders and roles so that it's not going to matter anyway. You won't care anymore. When you see a 12-year-old girl carried off to war, you won't care. Or if you see her slaving in a mine, you won't care. It doesn't affect you.
Right.
You see slaves in mines every day, but you still buy iPhone 15s and line up around the block. So do I. And I know about it. What do you do? I mean, I don't upgrade it every year. That's my contribution. Like, it's fucked. I don't have an electric car.
Yeah, because of the mining for that, it's like, what, 10 times? I don't know, like, anyways.
Anyway, so communism is ushered
Yemeni.
in many ways, and so that the ways that it's mimicked is like exactly that. In school, children are being taught right now. You want to change your gender? Oh, this is the pronoun you want to use? Okay, you're safe here. Your parents aren't safe. They don't get you.
You're safe
But I
here.
get you.
Yeah, trust us.
Trust me.
We'll look after you.
I'm here for you. I'm your friend. Yeah. And that's how it happens. So there's a break between you and your parents. You're now told that your parents don't know what's best for you. And you're buying into that because you know that if you go home and tell your mom that you're going to identify as a zebra, she's not going to fucking let you do it because you know I'm your mom and I'm going to be like, fuck that, you're not fucking doing it.
You're not a zebra, honey.
Right? Yeah. You can pretend to be a zebra today. Go up to your room and play zebra. But when you come down for dinner tonight, you're fucking Jessica.
So the girl from North Korea.
Okay. Well,
Stay
I just kind of said here, like they're saying that at school they were taught that their parents were the enemy.
Right.
And literally these parents would get executed for, let's say, there was an example that she gave of someone got executed because their parent was watching Hollywood American movies. Somehow they had smuggled American movies in, and the child went to school and told the teacher, and that parent was executed. And then it goes generations. So you know how here, like, your grandfather or your father could be a piece of shit, whatever, okay? You can fucking go to school and you can be anything you want here. This is where we're all fucked and misled. You can be anything you want here, okay? In North Korea, if your dad was in prison, you're in prison, your kid's in prison, and his fucking kid's in prison. It's generational. So it absolutely matters who your ancestors are. It's fucked. It's crazy. So, okay, so there's the example of the school. I'm trying to think of other examples because there's like 1,000 of them. So I'm just going to keep going
Of communism?
Yeah, of like the connection. Like there's the gender too. There's the whole gender thing, but that's kind of the same on the same line. But how they tried to change, during communism in China, no girls were allowed to be girls, and they were all made to look the same. They all had the same haircuts, wore the same clothes. There was no difference between them. They all did the same marching. They all did the same work. That's
the stripping of identity to be all one identity.
Yeah.
Which is like this gender, what are they called? Gender neutral? You want like just, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, so the history of it all is really crazy because it's just repeating itself, and I do believe that feminism was a creation through communism. So if how and exactly, I'm still working that out. There's so much to unpack with this. It's so triggering. But that's the reality is that this was brought in to break up families.
Well, and it's because it's the division. It fosters more division. And that's like any social movement that keeps people pinned against one another is only fostering more hate.
Yeah.
It's only fostering more hate
Exactly.
under the guise of self-empowerment.
Since Black Lives Matters movement, do you feel like we're better off as a people or not? Like, I don't think so. I don't think it did anything to bring the world together.
No, I think it just made people hate white people.
Yes.
Like anybody, and then you're racist if you say anything but.
Yeah, and it makes people like me not like hate black people, but it makes me the people that are like democratic black people that think that I'm bad because of the color of my skin. It's like makes me fucking like angry with that. It's like what the like
There's complete hypocrisy with any of these movements, because with this liberating of righteousness, this virtuousness that you're pushing to fight for your own liberation, but that at the same time you are denying other people their reality.
yeah.
That is hypocrisy.
Yeah.
And so all you're doing is doing the exact same thing that you feel is being done to you. You're just repeating the fucking cycle of it.
So two wrongs make a right now.
Right.
That's what they want. Just like
Yeah.
1 + 1
Yeah.
doesn't equal.
Well, this
2.
is the divide and conquer strategy that's been around for so many years, and that's part of the communist. That's like dictatorship type stuff. Is like, I'm going to get you to get really angry about this, so you'll hate this other group, so you'll be distracted from what's happening over here.
Yeah, exactly.
You won't actually fight against the real dark shadow. We're just going to infiltrate and work on your psyche to fight something else.
Yeah.
Like, come on, the divide and conquer strategy, it's been around forever. And we're seeing movement after movement after movement of it. And it's just psyops. Like, if you keep falling into the trap of getting into this social rage, because what it does is it pulls on your fucking heartstrings.
It's emotional.
It pulls on human emotion.
Yeah. What was that thing about the devil? Remember in that documentary last night about the devil?
Well, that it's satanic, like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
but remember?
well, God is a creator. God is pure source. It's light, and
the
the
devil
devil
can't ever-
doesn't create.
Doesn't create. So, but it can destroy.
But it can just yes,
So that's why it can't create, and that's why it's trying to destroy creation, and that's why he wants to be in control of creation. So that's why if he can eliminate the family and the population, then he can control who can have babies, because it would be like all through science.
Yeah.
So in like a dystopian future, it would be like these rich elites, right, are like renting wombs, like if you've like Brave New World kind of shit, right? Like they're like renting wombs from, poor girls.
that Maid series,
Oh yeah, the Handmaid's
The
Tale.
Handmaid's Tale. That was
That's
fucking
so
disturbing.
fucked.
But that programming, it's like when you watch those shows, that it's programming your mind to prepare you so that you build the future, because your mind is the creator
so
of the
fucked.
reality.
But do you remember why none of the elites could be pregnant? Like why couldn't? So there must have been some kind of like thing that like wiped out fertility. Do you remember? Was there?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? But
Yeah.
do you remember what it was? Because I don't remember.
Wiped it out? No, I don't
No, yeah. It was probably a fucking vaccine. COVID-19.
People could get pregnant.
Yeah.
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 Interesting, right?
Booked it was good.
Yeah. Fucked.
It was so messed up. That was
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, is there anything that we have a couple more minutes, but is there anything that we didn't that you wanted to talk about?
Well,
that-
yeah, I just want to say like the equality piece, I guess, like I get that it has good meaning, and I understand that. And I do think that we should be respectful and all loving to each other. We're brothers and sisters. At the end of the day, we're all brothers and sisters. But there's nothing wrong with polarity. There's nothing wrong with being different. In fact, that's what makes us like the yin and the yang. That's what masculine, feminine is. And that's one of the laws of the universe, is law of gender, that nature is inherently gendered. And so to say like to say that we're completely equal goes against nature as well.
Right.
Right? So we're actually
Yeah.
like pushing an agenda that violates our own human nature. That doesn't make any sense to me.
It also doesn't make sense that we're like, in North America, we're so first world that like these are our problems as women. This is
Right.
what we're fighting for now. We're fighting for pronouns and we're fighting for murdering babies. How old can they be up until? And we're fighting for like
The mutilation of our children's bodies.
these are what the feminists are fighting for now. Like trans kids are human kid.
Well, we were
like it's just like what no one hates kids that might no one hates kids that might be trans. No one hates kids that might be gay, but it seems like you might hate actually it seems like you might hate kids that are gay and that's why you're trying to make them trans.
Okay, explain that. Explain.
Okay, well, I just have like, I just kind of feel, I've been doing some research on this, and the more research I do, the more I'm kind of in line, I'm feeling in line with it, is that the trans movement is based on homophobia. So instead of your daughter growing up to be a lesbian, she's a male. Instead of her looking like a lesbian, she will live as a male, and therefore, she's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's normal. He's fine. And if your boy is gay, then if he lives as a woman, then he's not gay. He's a woman. He's just born wrong.
I just don't think we're born wrong. I just don't think God makes mistakes. I think, again, like learning how to love who we are and what our soul chose to be in this body. Our soul chooses this to learn. And I just don't think, like, we're part of God. Like, we're all creations from God. I just don't think that we were mistakes. But I do think that part of healing our collective is learning to heal that relationship with the divine masculine and the divine feminine, and learning to really embody, our divine nature.
Yeah.
So as feminists growing up, we've actually shifted back to reclaiming womanhood.
We're going to.
We're going to that.
We're
Yeah.
doing
We're doing that.
We're doing it because
And manhood.
yeah, because you know what? What it takes is it takes women to have the courage to say this kind of stuff, which sounds so fucking absurd to me that I'm like that this is something that people don't want to say. You know what I mean? But we've come to a point where as feminists, if you're a true feminist, you must say that trans rights supersede women's rights. That's what you're saying. How is that feminism? That's what you're saying, because you're saying that trans women are women and that trans women should be allowed in female spaces. So all it takes is for a man, any man, there might be a valid man that's a trans man, but there's also a pedophile. And all he has to do is say, I am a woman. And now he's a woman. And now he gets access to any space he wants. And now that's feminism now. And if you say, I'm a feminist, but I don't agree with that, you're ousted. I can't tell you the number of books and interviews I've listened to of women that are ousted, gay women.
I think this is where we're getting again into the divisional stuff, is that the trans rights supersede everybody else's rights. Black Lives Matter rights supersede anybody that's not black.
Yeah. And if you say all lives matter, that's racist.
Yeah, like what the fuck? So you're keeping somebody lower than you because your rights supersede somebody else's rights. That's hypocritical. It's so contradictory.
There's so much more that we didn't get into that I wanted to we didn't even scratch the surface. I have pages and pages. I didn't do any of it.
We'll have to have a part 2 on that.
Yeah, part 2.
So at the end of the day, if we really want to look at it from like the healing, the collective lens, and because the earth heals when we heal, and the work is on the inner side, is inside us. All of our own healing comes from within, right? So if we're looking at it through that lens, which is the lens of love, we all matter. And there's beauty in all of our differences, and that we could just respect all of our differences and to honor the polarities that make our collective whole, which is the difference of our genders. And when we learn to respect each other's gender, if we learn to respect our dualities and our differences, that's how we bring balance into the earth again.
Yeah.
Anyways, I do think, there's more
There's
like
so
women's
much.
circles happening. There's a lot of like sisterhood work that's taking place. And, the work with sacred sons and healing the masculine. And there's just so much.
We didn't get to anything we didn't get to any of the polyamorous stuff. We didn't get to. There's so much that we did not get to talk about here. We didn't get to talk about the chickens fucking. We didn't get to talk about
Maybe part 2.
Okay, that will be
how
part 2.
plastic surgery, how women aren't even like women are
Oh, man.
women don't even, and the girls, how the girls don't even have any understanding about their changes,
The rites of passage
rites
into
of
womanhood
passage.
and into
All right.
manhood.
Maybe that okay. Anyway,
Okay, that will be part 2.
maybe we should just do part 2 now.
We can. Well, our producer's like, just cut
So
it
we're gonna
now.
stop.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Stay tuned.
stay tuned, homies. We'll be back. We'll be right back after this break.